The day before my brother's wedding, my mom cut holes in all my clothes as a joke. My aunt mocked me too. But the next day, when my secret billionaire wife arrived and took my arm, every smug smile vanished. The scissors were still on the bed when I came out of the shower. Chrome-handled kitchen shears, the expensive kind my mother only used for special occasions. They were sitting on top of my suitcase at 10:47 a.m. on Friday morning, the day before my brother Brandon's wedding. I was reaching for my clothes, the suit I'd had dry cleaned specifically for the rehearsal dinner, the 3 dress shirts I'd packed, the pants, everything when I saw them. Holes, clean, deliberate cuts, not tears, not snags, surgical precision. Every single piece of clothing I'd brought had been systematically destroyed. My hands started shaking. I picked up my navy suit jacket, the one I'd saved 3 months to buy. Someone had cut a 4-inch hole right through the back. The dress shirts, holes through the sleeves, the collars, the fronts. My pants, slashed across the legs. Even my socks, even my underwear. You're not seriously wearing that to the rehearsal dinner. My mother stood in the doorway of the guest room. She didn't ask. She announced it like a verdict, like I'd failed some test I hadn't known I was taking. Mom, my voice came out strangled. Did you do this? She smiled. That particular smile I'd seen my entire life. The one that said, "You're being ridiculous. Stop making a scene." "Oh, honey." Aunt Carol appeared behind her, wine glass in hand. At 11 a.m., the crystal caught the light Waterford, because Mom only used the good stuff for Brandon's pre-wedding festivities. Maybe the holes will make you look edgy. God knows you need something to distract from that face. They laughed, that synchronized cackle that had been the soundtrack to every family gathering for 28 years. My mother folded her arms, still smiling. "Brandon's wedding is about him, not you." My jaw clenched. I looked down at the ruined fabric in my hands. The suit had cost $847. The shirts were $89 each. This wasn't a joke. This was $1,200 worth of deliberate destruction. "Why would you do this?" Mom shrugged, examining her manicure. "You always make everything so dramatic. It's just fabric, Hannah. You can wear something else." "I don't have anything else. This is everything I brought." "Then I guess you'll have to get creative." Aunt Carol snorted into her wine. "Besides, who's gonna notice what you're wearing anyway? You're practically furniture at this point." Background noise. The forgotten child. "That's not fair." "Fair?" Mom's voice went sharp. "You know what's not fair? Having to explain to everyone why my younger son is still working at some no-name tech startup while his brother is a corporate attorney making $340,000 a year. You know what's not fair? People asking me why you're still single at 28 when Brandon is getting married to a doctor." The words hit like physical blows, but they weren't new, just variations on a theme I'd heard since I was 6 years old, and Brandon won his first spelling bee while I came in fourth. They walked away laughing, their voices echoing down the hallway. I heard them join the rest of the family in the kitchen. Brandon, his fiancée, Jessica, my uncle Tom, Brandon's groomsmen. The house was full of people preparing for tomorrow's wedding at the Riverside estate. A $200,000 wedding, according to my mother's constant reminders. I sat on the bed, surrounded by shredded fabric, and felt that familiar numbness settle over me. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Sophia. "How's the family gathering going? Missing you. My wife, my secret for 18 months. I'd been living 2 lives since the day I married Sophia Chen in a small ceremony at San Francisco City Hall. In one life, I was Hannah Barrett, the disappointment son, the invisible child, the punchline to every family joke. In the other, I was Dr. Hannah Barrett, AI research lead at Neural Tech, married to one of the most brilliant tech entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. I'd met Sophia at a tech conference in San Jose 3 years ago. She was giving the keynote on emerging AI applications. I was presenting a paper on ethical frameworks for machine learning. We'd ended up at the same hotel bar, arguing about algorithmic bias until 3 a.m. She was brilliant, funny, saw the world the way I did as a puzzle to solve, a system to optimize, a problem set that required both logic and empathy. We dated for a year before I told her about my family. Really told her. Not just, "We're not close," but the details, the forgotten birthdays, the mockery, the way they'd made me feel invisible my entire life. "Why do you still go to their events?" she'd ask. "Because if I don't, they'll say I abandoned them, and somehow that'll be worse than accepting their treatment." "That's not how it works, Hannah. You don't owe abusers your presence. They're my family." "No, they're people who share your DNA. Family is supposed to love you." 6 months later, we got married. Small ceremony, just us and 2 witnesses we grabbed from the courthouse lobby. We'd planned to have a bigger celebration later, invite friends, make it official in the way people expected. But I never told my parents, never mentioned Sophia at all. "Are you ashamed of me?" she'd asked once. "God, no. I'm protecting you. If they know about you, they'll either think I'm lying, because how could someone like me marry someone like you, or they'll try to use you. Use your money, your connections, your success. I can't let them do that. And what about using you? That's okay? I'm used to it." "That's the problem, Hannah. You're used to it." She'd wanted to meet them, wanted to confront the situation head on, but I'd asked her not to, begged her, really, said I needed to handle it my own way, in my own time. And I had handled it, by keeping 2 lives separate, by being their punching bag when required, and being myself the rest of the time. Until it became clear that no amount of distance would protect me from their cruelty. So I'd texted her, and she'd come, and now she was standing in my parents' entryway with the full force of her success on display. But sitting there, looking at my destroyed clothes, something inside me finally broke. I typed, "Mom, cut holes in all my clothes. Every single piece. Says it's a joke." 3 dots appeared immediately, then stopped, then reappeared. "Send me the address, Sophia. You don't have to. Address, now." I sent it. My parents' house in Lake Oswego. The McMansion my mother loved showing off. The house with the circular driveway, the fountain, the manicured lawn. The house where Brandon's wedding prep had been happening all week, while I'd been expected to arrive, smile, and accept whatever treatment they dealt out. "I'll be there in 90 minutes. Don't engage with them. Just wait." I should have told her no. Should have said I'd figure it out, but I was so tired. 28 years of being the family punching bag, and I was exhausted. I went downstairs at 11:34 a.m. The kitchen was chaos, caterers prepping food, florists arranging centerpieces, my mother directing everyone like a general commanding troops. "Hannah," she spotted me immediately. "Finally, go help unload the chairs from Tom's truck and try not to screw it up." Brandon looked up from his phone. "Where's your suit?" "Rehearsal's at 5. Someone cut holes in all my clothes." The kitchen went quiet for exactly 3 seconds. Then Brandon laughed. "Classic." "Mom, did you really?" Mom shrugged, grinning. "He's always so serious." I thought I'd lighten the mood. "That's amazing." Brandon's fiancée, Jessica Doctor. Jessica Wong, cardiac surgeon, the woman my mother constantly compared me to, smiled. "Hannah, you've got to learn to take a joke." "It's not a joke. I don't have anything to wear tonight, so go buy something," Aunt Carol said, refilling her wine. "There's a men's warehouse 20 minutes away. Unless you can't afford it." She said it sweetly, but the implication was clear. I made $180,000 a year. Sophia and I owned a $3.2 million house in Palo Alto. I could afford a suit, but that wasn't the point. The point was that my mother had deliberately destroyed my property, and everyone thought it was hilarious. "I'm going to wait outside," I said. "Of course you are," Mom called after me. "Can't handle a little family fun. So sensitive." I sat on the front porch steps, staring at my phone. Sophia had texted again. "On my way. Bringing reinforcements. Do not let them gaslight you. What they did is abuse, not a joke." At 12:47 p.m., a black Mercedes S-Class pulled into the circular driveway. Sophia got out first. Black pantsuit, Tom Ford. I recognized it from when we'd gone shopping last month. Her dark hair was pulled back in a severe bun. Diamond studs caught the sunlight. Behind her, her executive assistant Marcus emerged from the driver's seat, carrying a garment bag. But it was the third person who made my breath catch. Attorney Victoria Chen, Sophia's older sister, one of the most feared family lawyers in California, 47 years old, senior partner at Chen and Associates, famous for destroying abusers in court. Sophia walked up to me, her heels clicking on the stone pathway. Up close, I could see the fury in her eyes, carefully controlled but burning. "Are you okay?" she asked quietly. I nodded, couldn't speak. She cupped my face in her hands. "I'm so sorry. I should have been here from the start. I should have met your family the first time you mentioned them. I should have seen this coming. You couldn't have known. I knew they were cruel. You told me enough stories. I just didn't realize how bad it was." She kissed my forehead. "Come on, let's go introduce ourselves." I wanted to stop her, wanted to say we could just leave, forget the whole thing, skip the wedding. But Victoria was already walking toward the front door, iPad in hand, looking like she was heading into a deposition. Sophia rang the doorbell. From inside, "Hannah, get the door. Make yourself useful for once." I opened it slowly. Sophia stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. Victoria right behind her, Marcus bringing up the rear with the garment bag. Aunt Carol was the first to appear, coming from the kitchen with her refill. She took one look at Sophia, at the obvious wealth radiating from every detail of her appearance, and froze. The wine glass slipped from her fingers. It shattered on the marble entryway. Red wine splattered across the white stone like blood. Mom rushed out from the kitchen, ready to yell about the mess. She stopped dead. The kitchen noise continued for a moment. Caterers, florists, family members talking. Then one by one they came to see what was happening. Brandon appeared at the top of the stairs. Jessica behind him. Uncle Tom, the groomsmen, everyone. Sophia extended her hand to my mother. "Mrs. Barrett, I'm Sophia Chen, Hannah's wife." The silence was absolute. My mother's mouth opened. Nothing came out. She looked from Sophia to me, back to Sophia, her brain clearly short-circuiting. "His wife?" Aunt Carol finally managed. "Yes." Sophia didn't blink. "We've been married for 18 months, and I have to say, I'm deeply disappointed in how you've treated my husband during his visit." Brandon came down the stairs fast, his lawyer brain clearly engaging. "Wait, Sophia Chen? As in Chen Technologies, the AI company?" "That's correct." "The billionaire?" "Also correct." Sophia kept her eyes on my mother. "Hannah is my husband, and I don't appreciate people destroying his property as a joke." Victoria stepped forward. Victoria Chen, Chen and Associates Family Law. "Mrs. Barrett, I need to inform you that the deliberate destruction of property is grounds for civil litigation. The items destroyed had a combined value of approximately $1,200. Additionally, the psychological abuse and humiliation constitute harassment. This is insane. Mom finally found her voice. Hannah, what is this? Some kind of prank? Did you hire actors? Sophia pulled out her phone, tapped it twice, held it up so everyone could see the screen. It was a marriage certificate. Official. Dated 18 months ago. Hannah Barrett and Sophia Chen. I assure you, I'm quite real. Sophia's voice was ice. And I've been documenting this visit since Hannah texted me this morning. She swiped to another screen, pressed play. My mother's voice crystal clear. He's always so serious. I thought I'd lighten the mood. Brandon's laugh. Classic. Mom, did you really? Jessica's voice. Hannah, you've got to learn to take a joke. Aunt Carol, unless you can't afford it, every word, every laugh, every casual cruelty, recorded. I've already sent this file to several people, Sophia continued calmly, including Brandon's employer, and Jessica's hospital administrator, and several members of your country club board, Mrs. Barrett. I thought they might be interested in knowing what kind of people they're socializing with. Mom's face went white. You can't, you wouldn't. I already did. Sophia checked her phone. Sent at 12:52 p.m. That was 7 minutes ago. They should be checking their emails right about now. Brandon's phone started ringing. He looked at the screen. It's my managing partner. Jessica's phone buzzed. It's the hospital chief of staff. Mom's phone lit up. Then Aunt Carol's. Then Uncle Tom's. Everyone's phones were going off at once. Victoria smiled. It wasn't pleasant. Mrs. Barrett, you should know that in California, the intentional destruction of property with the purpose of causing emotional distress can result in both civil and criminal penalties. The recording we have clearly establishes intent and malice. Additionally, the pattern of psychological abuse Hannah has described, which he's been documenting in therapy sessions with Dr. Rebecca Morrison for the past 2 years, constitutes grounds for a restraining order if he chooses to pursue one. Therapy? Mom whispered. What are you talking about? Dr. Rebecca Morrison, PhD, licensed clinical psychologist, 16 years specializing in family trauma, Victoria said, reading from her iPad. Hannah's been seeing her since before he met Sophia. She's prepared to testify if necessary about the long-term psychological damage caused by your treatment of him. I hadn't known Victoria was going to bring that up, but yes, I'd been seeing Dr. Morrison. Yes, we'd talked extensively about my family, about being the scapegoat, about the constant mockery. Sophia wrapped her arm around my waist. Marcus, the garment bag, please. Marcus handed it to her. She unzipped it, revealing an impeccable navy suit. Tom Ford, perfectly tailored to my measurements. This is for tonight's rehearsal dinner, Sophia said. Since your mother destroyed your clothes, there's also a complete wardrobe for tomorrow's wedding, assuming there still is a wedding. Brandon's face was red. Of course there's still a wedding. This is ridiculous. Hannah, you can't seriously be going along with this. Going along with what? I asked. My voice was steady, calm. Defending myself? Standing up to abuse? Having a wife who actually respects me? We're your family. Mom's voice cracked. No, I shook my head. You're people I'm biologically related to who have spent 28 years treating me like I'm worthless. There's a difference. Sophia held up her phone again. I also took the liberty of posting some of this on social media, specifically to the Facebook group for Brandon's wedding guests, the one with 147 members. I introduced myself as Hannah's wife and shared the story of how his family destroyed his clothes the day before the wedding. The responses have been illuminating. She turned the phone. The Facebook group was exploding. Comment after comment. This is disgusting. I'm not coming to a wedding where the groom's family treats people like this. Brandon, your family is abusive. I can't support this. Is this a joke? If not, I'm out. Cutting someone's clothes? That's psychotic. Jessica grabbed Brandon's arm. Brandon, this is getting out of control. We need to need to what? Sophia asked. Apologize? Make amends? Or continue pretending this is normal? You don't understand, Mom said desperately. Hannah's always been difficult, sensitive. He takes things the wrong way. Mrs. Barrett, Victoria's voice cut through like a blade. I've spent 23 years practicing family law. I've seen every type of abuse, every manipulation tactic, every excuse abusers make. And what I'm hearing right now is textbook Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. You destroyed his property. You mocked him. You enabled others to mock him. Those are facts. The recording proves it. And now you're trying to reframe him as the problem. That stops now. Uncle Tom finally spoke up from the back. Look, maybe everyone should just calm down. It's stressful before a wedding. Mr. Barrett, Victoria turned to him. Are you aware that you're legally liable for not intervening in what you witnessed? As a bystander who saw property destruction and harassment occur and said nothing, you could be considered complicit. Tom's face went pale. Sophia checked her phone again. Oh, this is interesting. Someone just tagged your country club in the post, the Lake Oswego Country Club. I believe you've been members for 15 years, Mrs. Barrett. The comments under that tag are quite critical of members who engage in psychological abuse. Stop, Mom's voice broke. Actual tears started. Please, this is Brandon's wedding. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin everything. I'm not ruining anything, I said quietly. You did that the moment you decided humiliating me was entertainment. Brandon's phone rang again. He answered it, walked out of the room. I heard him talking frantically. Jessica was staring at her phone, her face ashen. 3 of my colleagues just texted. They saw the post. They're asking if I knew about this. If I was involved. Were you? Sophia asked pleasantly. You did tell Hannah to take a joke about his destroyed clothes. That was you, wasn't it, Dr. Wong? Jessica's mouth opened and closed. I didn't know. I thought. You thought it was funny. Victoria made a note on her iPad. Interesting. A cardiac surgeon who finds psychological abuse humorous. I wonder how that sits with your hospital's ethics board. Brandon came back, his face gray. That was my managing partner. Someone sent the recording to the entire litigation department. He wants me in his office Monday morning for a serious discussion about character and judgment. Aunt Carol was crying now too. We didn't mean it was just what? Sophia asked. Just cruelty? Just abuse? Just the systematic destruction of someone's self-worth over decades? She pulled up something else on her phone. Hannah's told me stories. Birthday parties where he was the only one who didn't get a gift. Christmas mornings where his stocking was empty, as a joke. The time in 8th grade when you told his entire class he wet the bed until he was 10, which was a lie, but the rumor stuck. The college graduation where you scheduled a family emergency so he'd have to leave early and miss his ceremony. Every single story documented. Every single wound cataloged. We loved him, Mom whispered. We do love him. No, I said. You loved having someone to look down on. Someone to make Brandon look better by comparison. Someone to blame when things went wrong. Sophia squeezed my hand. Hannah doesn't need your approval anymore. He doesn't need your validation. He has a career he's brilliant at. He has a marriage with someone who actually values him. He has a life that you're not part of, and that's his choice. Victoria packed up her iPad. Mrs. Barrett, Mr. Barrett, Miss Carol Barrett, I'm putting you on notice. Any further contact with Hannah that he has not explicitly invited constitutes harassment. Any public statements about him or his wife constitute defamation. Any attempts to interfere with his career or relationships constitute tortious interference. Do you understand? Mom nodded mutely. Good. Victoria handed her a business card. If you want to issue a formal apology, you can send it to this address. My office will review it for sincerity before passing it along to Hannah. He is under no obligation to accept. Jessica touched Brandon's arm. Brandon, we need to talk privately. They went upstairs. I could hear raised voices through the ceiling. Sophia turned to me. Do you want to stay for the rehearsal dinner? I thought about it. Thought about sitting at a table full of people who'd laughed at my pain. Thought about pretending everything was fine. No, I said. I want to go home. Our home? Our home. She smiled. A real smile this time. Warm and genuine. Good. Marcus, we're heading back to San Francisco. Can you arrange the jet? Already done, Miss Chen. Wheels up at 3 p.m. from Portland International. We started toward the door. Sophia paused, turned back to my mother. One more thing. The flowers you ordered for the wedding, the $8,000 arrangement from Portland Luxury Florals, I bought out their entire inventory this morning. They won't be able to fulfill your order. Just wanted you to know. Mom's face went slack. The flowers are the centerpiece of the entire ceremony. Then I guess you'd better get creative. Sophia smiled. That same cold smile she used in business negotiations. See how it feels when someone destroys something you care about. We walked out into the November sunshine. Behind us, I heard my mother start screaming. Heard Brandon's voice raised in anger. Jessica's response. Heard Aunt Carol sobbing. And for the first time in 28 years, I felt the weight of their judgment lift off my shoulders. We drove to the airport in silence. Sophia held my hand the entire time. On the plane, 30,000 feet above Oregon, she finally spoke. I'm sorry I didn't push harder to meet them earlier. I asked you not to. This isn't your fault. But I could have protected you sooner. You protected me today. That's what matters. She leaned her head on my shoulder. What do you think will happen with the wedding? I don't know. Don't care, honestly. My phone buzzed. A text from Brandon. You ruined everything. I hope you're happy. I showed it to Sophia. She took my phone, typed a response. This is Sophia. Your mother ruined everything the moment she picked up those scissors. Hannah is happy. Maybe for the first time in his life where your family is concerned. Don't contact him again. She handed the phone back. Block him? Yeah, I blocked Brandon, then my mother, then Aunt Carol, then Uncle Tom. One by one, I deleted people who'd spent decades making me feel small. Later that night, in our house in Palo Alto, we got a call from Victoria. Thought you'd want an update, she said. The wedding is still on, but barely. 47 guests have canceled so far. The venue coordinator called me. Apparently your mother tried to claim extenuating circumstances to get a refund. I informed them that destruction of property and documented abuse don't qualify. They're holding her to the $78,000 deposit. $78,000? I repeated. Non-refundable. She signed the contract 8 months ago. Brandon's employer, Morrison, Fletcher, and Kane, put him on administrative leave pending an ethics review. Turns out laughing at property destruction and participating in family abuse doesn't align with their stated values. His managing partner called it a serious lapse in judgment that calls his character into question. Sophia was listening on speaker. What about Jessica? Dr. Wong's hospital opened an investigation into her conduct. 3 patients filed complaints saying they're uncomfortable being treated by someone who finds cruelty entertaining. The hospital ethics board is reviewing. She's been reassigned from cardiac surgery to administrative duties pending the outcome. I felt a twinge of guilt, then remembered, you have to learn to take a joke. Your mother, Victoria continued, has been asked to resign from the Lake Oswego Garden Club, the Pacific Northwest Arts Foundation Board, and the Junior League chapter she's been part of for 23 years. The country club sent her a formal warning letter about conduct unbecoming of members. One more incident and they'll revoke her membership. That'll kill her, I said. The country club is her entire social life. Actions have consequences. She's learning that the hard way. Victoria paused. And your Aunt Carol, this is interesting. Her husband Richard filed for divorce this morning. Apparently, the wine glass incident and the recording were the final straws. He cited irreconcilable differences stemming from patterns of cruel behavior. He's asking for primary custody of their 2 children and claiming Aunt Carol has a substance abuse problem. Does she? From what I've seen, yes. Wine at 11 a.m. isn't social drinking, but that's for their lawyers to sort out. The weight of it all settled over me. Lives upended, careers damaged, relationships destroyed. Hannah, Victoria's voice softened. Are you feeling guilty? A little. Don't. You didn't destroy their lives. You held up a mirror. They destroyed their own lives the moment they decided cruelty was acceptable. You just made it visible. The next day, more dominoes fell. Brandon's managing partner released a statement. Morrison, Fletcher, and Kane has placed Brandon Barrett on unpaid administrative leave, pending the outcome of an internal ethics investigation. We take allegations of misconduct seriously and are committed to ensuring all our attorneys uphold the highest standards of character. The Portland Tribune picked up the story. Corporate attorney on leave after family abuse incident at brother's wedding. The article didn't name me, but it detailed the scissors, the recording, the fallout. Jessica's hospital was more circumspect. Oregon Health and Science University is reviewing an incident involving one of our physicians. We cannot comment on ongoing personnel matters, but take all allegations seriously. But the real damage came from social media. The Facebook post Sophia had made wasn't just seen by wedding guests. Someone had screenshot it, posted it to Twitter, to Reddit, to TikTok. By Monday morning, scissor incident was trending. Millions of people were dissecting my family's behavior, sharing their own scapegoat stories, creating memes about Brandon's administrative leave and Jessica's ethics review. My mother's garden club acquaintances started a private Facebook group, Concerned Members of LOGC. Someone leaked the chat logs. They were discussing whether to formally expel Mom or just socially freeze her out. The vote was leaning toward expulsion. Aunt Carol's divorce filing became public record. Local news covered it. Lake Oswego woman's husband seeks divorce. Cites pattern of cruel behavior after viral wedding incident. Every consequence cataloged. Every wound visible. The article ran 3 weeks later. The golden child and the scapegoat. How family dynamics enable abuse in wealthy households. My face wasn't shown, but my story was told in detail. The scissors. The lifetime of mockery. The wedding disaster. It went viral. 2.3 million views in the first week. I got emails from hundreds of people sharing similar stories. People who'd been the family scapegoat. People who'd finally stood up to abusers. People who said seeing my story gave them courage. Brandon's wedding happened on that Saturday, 4 days after the scissors incident. I heard about it from Marcus, Brandon's groomsman who'd been there during the confrontation. He called me Sunday morning. I thought you should know what happened. Not because you need to care, but because you deserve to know the consequences actually played out. Tell me. Okay, so Friday night rehearsal dinner, only 17 people showed up out of 60. Your mom tried to act like nothing was wrong, kept saying people were ill or had emergencies, but everyone knew. Everyone had seen the posts. How was Brandon? Furious. Kept checking his phone. His managing partner sent another email Friday afternoon, officially suspending him without pay. He spent the entire dinner in the bathroom on calls with lawyers. And Jessica? Tense. Her mother flew in from Vancouver. They had a huge fight in the parking lot. I heard her mom yelling, "I didn't raise you to mock vulnerable people." Jessica was crying. Her mother left before dessert. Just got in her car and drove back to Canada. Marcus paused. The wedding itself Saturday was brutal. Maybe 90 guests showed up, out of 230. The ceremony was fine, quick, nobody objected when the officiant asked. But the reception, what happened? Your Uncle Tom got drunk, started loudly defending your mother, said you were always too sensitive and couldn't take family humor. One of Brandon's law school friends, this woman named Patricia Chen, turns out she's Victoria's niece, stood up and asked him if he thought property destruction was humor. Tom called her a woke activist. She walked out, took 15 other guests with her. Jesus, it gets worse. During the best man speech, Brandon's friend Derek made a joke about family drama. Nobody laughed, just dead silence. Derek tried to recover, made it worse, ended up cutting the speech short. Then your Aunt Carol, who was drunk by 3 p.m., tried to give an impromptu speech about family loyalty, started crying halfway through, had to be escorted out by hotel security. I closed my eyes. This should have felt good. Justice, consequences, but it just felt sad. Sad that it had come to this. Sad that they still didn't understand. Your mother, Marcus continued quietly, stood by the cake for 20 minutes minutes waiting for the cake-cutting photos. But the photographer had canceled that morning, saw the social media posts, didn't want to be associated with the family. They ended up with just iPhone photos. No professional shots at all. What about the flowers? Oh, right, the flowers. Your mother called every florist in Portland, trying to replace the order Sophia bought out. Finally found someone who could do a rush job. Cost her $11,000. The arrangements were not good. Looked like grocery store bouquets. Several guests took photos, posted them online. Someone made a meme. When your florist ghosts you because you're a terrible person. Marcus, why are you telling me all this? Because I was there. During the scissors, I watched your mom destroy your clothes. I watched everyone laugh, and I said nothing. I've spent 4 days feeling like the worst kind of coward. So I wanted you to know it wasn't for nothing. People saw, people cared, and some of us are trying to be better. After he hung up, I told Sophia everything. Do you wish you'd been there? She asked. To watch them suffer? No, I don't need that. Good. Revenge that requires witnessing isn't revenge. It's just another way of being tied to them. But Marcus's call wasn't the last update. Over the next several weeks, more information filtered through. Brandon and Jessica's honeymoon in Bali was canceled. The resort had seen the news coverage, decided they didn't want that kind of publicity, and refunded the deposit with a polite suggestion they go elsewhere. My mother was officially expelled from the Lake Oswego Garden Club on a vote of 27-3. The president released a statement about maintaining community standards of respect and kindness. Aunt Carol's divorce proceedings revealed she'd been arrested twice for DUI in the past 5 years. Both times, Uncle Richard had used family connections to keep it quiet. The judge ordered her to attend 60 days of inpatient treatment or lose custody of her kids. She chose treatment. Brandon's administrative leave lasted 6 weeks. When he finally returned to work, he was transferred to a smaller office, removed from high-profile cases, and told his partnership track was under review. Jessica's hospital reassignment became permanent. She resigned 4 months later, citing irreconcilable differences with hospital administration. She ended up at a private clinic making $140,000 a year instead of the $380,000 she'd been making in cardiac surgery. Every piece of news that reached me felt like watching dominoes fall in slow motion. I hadn't pushed them, I'd just stopped holding them up. My mother tried to reach out once through a mutual friend, said she wanted to apologize, wanted to make amends, wanted to start fresh. Victoria reviewed the message. It's not a real apology. It's a bid to regain access. I never responded. 2 years after the wedding disaster, Sophia and I were having dinner at our favorite restaurant in San Francisco. Expensive place, the kind with white tablecloths and a sommelier. A woman approached our table, mid-50s, elegant, nervous. Excuse me, are you Hannah Barrett? I tensed. Yes, I just wanted to thank you. I read your article 2 years ago about family abuse. I'd been dealing with something similar with my daughter. I was the one causing the harm. Your story made me realize what I was doing. I got therapy. We rebuilt our relationship. She's here tonight, actually. She gestured to a young woman at a nearby table who waved awkwardly. I wouldn't have changed if I hadn't read what you wrote, so thank you for being brave enough to speak up. She walked away before I could respond. Sophia took my hand across the table. You saved that family. I just told the truth. Sometimes that's enough.